So we went in with the expectation that we'd get paid, which is, nice for a job. And we seem to be moving in the direction that we might get killed. I feel like we're not negotiating the best,
Pod,
it's
she started it, Pod. I do not take kindly to people questioning or doubting my worth.
okay. I think there's maybe been some misunderstanding here.
I don't
Just a
think
small
so.
one.
I think
I
she's a
don't think this
bitch.
is supposed to be. I mean, maybe I'm not going to say that she isn't.
Montague is correct when he says, "You are a stupid, smart person." What kind of person who knows the powers of Dominus would threaten the sovereign arbiter?
Well,
You're a fool,
she insulted
and
me,
you will get
didn't
yourself
she?
killed. You do not need to speak every thought that comes to your head.
Why not? They're good thoughts. I'm not wrong.
They are not.
Fine.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to D&D Boyband. We are slightly reduced today. Again, unfortunately, real life gets in the way, as in moving and working late. Being an adult is difficult. Who would have thought? But we are still playing. We are still here. We're D&D Boyband. Our friends all like to play D&D Pretty Boys because apparently it's not fantasy unless everybody's hot. My name is Jamie, and joining me tonight is a slightly reduced group, but nonetheless fantastic D&D players. First of all, we have Clued as Casimir.
Real life was merely a setback.
Eski as Pod.
Hello.
And last but not least, Ben as Mercy.
Bless the maker and his water.
Bless the maker.
Although, I say those character names, they all died last session, so naturally everybody has re-rolled
Nice.
and ready to start a new campaign where the consequences of failing in this campaign is clear and current, and that's why, Sai and Luke aren't here. They just couldn't face living without Arvis and Quan. Any announcements before we start?
It's a Thursday. Oops. Sorry. That's all I got. No announcements, to be honest.
Understandable. I don't think we have any more other than, I know those of you who follow our TikTok or our Instagram, Clued has been doing a lot of work editing and putting stuff out there. They're very funny. Go check it out, follow, we appreciate. And
that's true. We do have some banger shorts where we bully the DM. That's true.
Especially as, Dave and Paul's are not my fantasy name, but maybe when you go to the City of the Dead, everybody's going to be called John.
I'm leaving if that's true.
But is Paul acceptable?
Yes, Paul is canonically acceptable. Just live with it.
So, last session, you all got an offer from Sovereign Arbiter Lysandra to come meet and say hi. You discussed the events of the past couple of days. Initiate Yorin approached Mercy to talk about what had happened with Yasivu and offer you safe haven. A little reluctantly, a little unsure, you were introduced to the Order of the Shell, who said that Yasivu had deviated from Cerberus's plan and they were looking for the old master. Those of you who watched the one-shots, please go figure out. Luke's character may or may not be important in this environment. And you guys took the safe haven, discussed what you wanted to do, discussed Fazul going away, and some Arvis backstory to do with where they came from.
Oh, yeah.
Am I missing anything particular? Oh, Pod Shield continuously berated him for various reasons. Am I missing anything significant before the fight?
Oh, yeah. And we fought Vecna.
No, before the fight.
Fight.
Yeah, you didn't. So, and then you all went to sleep. During your sleep, you were dragged to the tomb of Vecna, the last servant of the Lord of Order, Bane, where you saw the green shard that some of you recognize from Quan's heart that somebody, naming no names, Pod, released into the world. And this, combined with the skull of Vecna, forming a dark iron-clad figure and a large gauntleted weapon, mace, with a gauntlet at the end, that fought you. Throughout this fight, you managed to dislodge the helmet, revealing Fazul, one-eyed underneath. You all were defeated by this creature. Quan, left standing at the end, seeing it throw Casimir into the casket before throwing Quan against the wall, knocking him out.
So are we starting with my funeral? If I already have a casket, how does this
Have
work?
you designed your casket? Wow. I didn't design my casket.
Instead,
no, I've been given one.
you are all given a glimpse of something else. This time you're not aware of each other seeing this. This is all simply in your own mind. And standing next to a beheaded body. Those of you, all of you seeing this, recognize it immediately to be Naliska. It's a figure wearing a 5-headed dragon mask, standing with a sword dripping in blood.
Have we seen any? I'm assuming we would recognize that to be a Tiamat thing, right? 5-headed dragons.
Immediately.
I mean, Thezerin is Tiamat's Archon, but I'm assuming he wasn't wearing.
Doesn't look
a
like
mark.
Thezerin, no.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So as we die in this dream, we see this.
As you die, this is where your mind goes to. As you die, you are sent to this place before each of you waking up, back covered in sweat, wounds still raw. Some of you have physical cuts or pains through you. Whatever this is, it has manifested physically, and you all kind of look up and stare at each other, immediately all aware that the rest of you are awake, and that was real to some extent. As you look down at scorch marks, puncture wounds, blunt force trauma, I'd say all of you are currently on 1 HP.
Naliska was the spy master, right?
Yes.
And so Naliska was wearing the. Was it actually the Archon
Naliska was the
mark?
beheaded corpse on the floor. Naliska was dead.
Lying at the feet
Somebody was standing over it.
Wearing a Tiamat mask.
Wearing a Tiamat mask.
Okay.
Okay. So we awake in this cellar, having just been killed by the green shark. Do I remember this actually? Does Abaddon's modify memory?
You don't remember anything. You had the worst night's sleep ever. Actually, Casimir, you don't remember anything.
Really?
Yep.
Right, okay. So Abaddon's modify memory is a persistent effect, not a one-off.
No, it's like constant. Need a decurse, but you wouldn't want it from someone who's really sucks a lot of decurses like me.
In which case, then he wakes up on 1 HP, covered in wounds. Then, and I guess just looks around at the others and sees them in, I suppose, a similar state. What? Just why am I in pain? Why are you in pain? Why are we all in pain?
The dream. Something happened to us.
Dream?
You were all there.
I don't remember a dream.
What do you mean you don't remember?
Well, I didn't dream. I had a dream, but it certainly wouldn't have resulted in this.
It turns to Mercy. Wait, so you saw the tomb and the bit where we died?
Yes, I can recall everything. The figure. And the end.
Well, at least we're not really dead. That's a good start.
Run it back. Don't be vague about it. What happened? And you don't have to actually explain. Clude knows, but.
Felt myself.
And he begins to kind of recount what happened before the moment where he obviously would have passed out and stopped paying attention to the rest of the fight. So, actually, yeah. So I guess we all just Died.
But you're all knocked unconscious. Nobody actually died, to be clear.
It probably felt like death, though, right? I
Yeah,
mean, getting
probably
clobbered
felt
by
like we-
Vecna with a massive mace and stuff probably feels like death.
Losing consciousness probably felt like you weren't going to wake up again. Yes.
It was
Okay,
the sensation of dream.
So, Jimmy, when it's like recounted to me, right? Is it just the Here Lies Vecna, Servant of Bane, Lord of Order bit that he doesn't remember, or is it the whole thing?
I'd say recounting it to you, it's the from the initial enchantment all goes away. You have the vague recollection of fighting something. Yeah,
Right.
like it's fuzzy.
And
To satisfy, sorry, but Dennis just redeemed. Somebody went up and patted the head. Given current collections, it was Arvis. Arvis now has the head. Sorry, sorry.
Arvis now has
Wait,
the
wait,
head of
Arvis
what?
took the head.
Arvis walked over and grabbed the head in the vision. You all saw that. It's canon. You can question Arvis about it.
He pat the head canonically in the vision. All right. All right. The head has been
Okay.
pat. We pat decapitated heads here.
He took the decapitated head of Nalaska and patted it.
But we didn't know it was.
But we didn't know that because we saw that individually. So that exists
Yeah,
in
we didn't-
liminal space.
Right.
That-
Okay. Well,
Oh man,
Arvis
this
is a
guy.
psycho.
We knew that one already. Hang on. So you're sure it was a figure in
It was the same tomb. It was the same tomb.
black
And he kind of begins
black
to get
armor?
quite animated.
You said
The same place, the same guy, the same everything.
black armor and certainly Saul's face. You're sure?
100%.
Yeah, sort of. It's fuzzy, it's strange. I don't know if this is perhaps Abaddon's doing, messing around with my mind. I feel I ought to remember. I remember the last dreams very clearly. Why? Why did you
Why,
all see
indeed?
that?
I wish I could say. And I want to kind of hold action in a way, roleplay wise. As soon as Modi says anything, he immediately go off into a tirade of like, well, that was a great idea, wasn't it? Like, what did you think was going to happen? That kind of thing. Like, and for context, he'd basically encouraged him to just like, kind of like, don't be a pussy, go in kind of thing. Like, stop standing around, do something. Like
Pod,
a proper
I
backseat
promise
hero.
you, this was the best for everyone here. As you kind of see Pod begin to argue with his shield, Arvis kind of rolls over like, what the fuck, can't. That was a lot. Quan is kind of beginning to go around and heal everybody, so one by one. And the shield, I was listening to you, just said, we need to get back on track. And just like,
we didn't go anywhere.
yeah, you're alive. What happened? Like the shield, by the way, didn't seem to get taken on the vision with you.
Oh, I
Pod-
see. Okay, all right.
Pod,
I'm gonna
what's your brother saying?
well, he was kind of encouraging me to, be slightly more, let's say, proactive in altercations. And I think from a limited experience of me getting punched in the face pretty hard and not remembering anything, I feel like it didn't quite go to the plan. I think I'll hang back next time. I don't know about you guys, just might try and hang back next time.
Well, honestly, Pod, we're depending on you to keep us alive.
Yeah, it was a stupid idea. I really regret that one. I'm very sorry.
Leave getting punched in the face to me. It's my job. And that
raises one eyebrow.
Completely insane for a spellcaster to say.
Quan just looks up and says, no, Casimir, I think you can stay a bit further back too.
Why not? Are you saying I'm weak? Are you saying I can't handle it? I can. Contrary. He kind of looks down at the mace wounds and the blood dripping down his nose.
This isn't a question of who can handle what. It's where best you can be effective and utilized. You want to be the most effective you can.
Well, I have a strong and burning recollection of putting my thumb inside Zul's eye socket last night, and that seems to have worked quite well. So if I can do the damage most effectively next to them, that is where I shall be.
Quan kind of turns it. Casimir is correct. That was for Zul in the helmet. But you all saw the green shard, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
What do you think it means?
Nothing good.
It means that something has woken up.
Well, of course I've had
Pod,
dreams
when you-
involving
Hold on.
Zul to date, but the green shard, are you sure?
Pod, when you felt that thing, whatever it is, attached to my heart, what did it want?
I wanted to. Well, one wanted to be free. I have to try and remember this correctly. One definitely wanted to be free, and one didn't want to go. I think recounts. I think it was, if I recall, DM, it was gold didn't want to be free. Green really wanted to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he recounts something along those lines.
Green
Fine.
just looks troubled and really sinks into thought. Whilst attempting to heal you all, there's going to be no other combat, so unless you guys choose to fight, whatever reason. But
Look, and as I understand it, Zul is going to Sacramar, or at least through it, on a mission for something. Something has told him to do it. I can't help but feel at this point I'm a little concerned for his well-being. Does that not strike you all as a little... a bad omen, rather, for him to go towards whatever we just experienced last night? I mean...
I'm not one for omens and the like. Ironic. But, yeah, if I was him, I would not want to go. And I'm a little concerned with his well-being.
No, I mean, last conversation I had with him, sure, he's a little cantankerous and, short on brain cells, but he's not. He's not evil, he's not... He said he only wants to defeat his brother so everyone will leave him alone. That's not... That's not what we're experiencing in these visions, is it?
No.
I think, he rustles around for some paper. I'm sure he said he was leaving. I know we can't leave the cellar while your assassins are after us, Mercy, but perhaps I can get a warning to him in time or something. Let me pen something. And, he writes a letter, and he says he's doing it quickly and he's trying to do it fast, but, you'd probably observe him write a pretty lengthy letter. And at some point he does start laughing to himself, so clearly he's having a bit of fun with it. He clearly relaxes into the writing.
this is the letter you sent me.
And yeah, DM, you have a copy of that letter.
I do have a copy of this letter. Is it as dripping with sexual tension and sarcasm as the one, you sent me? Very well. Yeah.
Are you sending fanfic?
Look, it's
I've received some fanfic.
It's not fanfic if it's a canon event, guys.
I can't argue with that logic, to be honest.
It's as much a warning to him that he should not go as instigatory and, saucy. And he also takes 100 gold out of his pouch and attaches it to the envelope. And Casimir doesn't explain this one, but he will head around the cellar, I think, until he finds one of the monks there, the Order of the Shell. Is that their name?
Yeah, They are almost asleep. Oh, no, sorry, they're not sleeping. They are continuing to work, sorry.
Maybe rather than approach one directly, he'll turn to Mercy and say, Mercy, the reason we can't deliver this personally to our friend is because your order are out to kill us, yes? Do you think one of your counter-order shell friends might do me the service of being a courier for this one? I know your assassins fate and all, and delivering letters might be a little beneath you, but I would like to do this myself, only I can't, because I'll die.
Well, that would depend on whether the sending of this letter is part of your destiny and whether the receiving of it is part of Fazul's.
I'm so sure he needs to read this as part of his fate, yes.
Let's ask. I guess Mercy will accompany Casimir over to one of the Order of the Shell, and
I would like you to roll an insight check on their response.
Is it all of us or just Mercy?
Just who's gone for it.
I don't know where I'd be. I certainly wouldn't be accidentally closing my tabs.
Right, yeah, I've done the exact same thing.
I
I rolled a 10.
Okay. As you hand it off, you are confident that this sending of this letter and the receiving of the letter is part of destiny and therefore should happen.
And as the guy heads off, Casimir's going to grab their arm and say, it really is important that he gets the money. It's quite a list I've sent him off with, so...
This is the name of this one is Hanno, as they turn back. I am sure, if it is willed, it shall be.
Magnificent. Thank you ever so much. Good. Great. Good. Turns to Mercy.
You need not worry, Casimir.
Well,
it's part of the plan.
We've done a good deed here. I'm glad that we have, well, at least tried to ensure his safety. I'm certain he'll ignore the warning, but I hope he at least
Casimir,
gets the sentiment.
I must share something with you, which is quite serious and maybe difficult for you to hear.
Oh, try me.
I've had some visions of the future, of you, particularly when the orb of blood magic exploded at the moment of your spell. And through my own efforts to discern some of the intriguing things about you.
You've seen my future, is that what you're trying to tell me?
I have. And you know that I cannot reveal too much, but your efforts to change Fazul's fate are ultimately doomed to failure.
I really take offense to this idea of preordainment. Mercy, you should know that by now. Whatever it is you think you've seen about me, about the people whose lives I can influence, doesn't mean a thing. I am in control of my own future. Zavras has nothing on me. Whatever it is you've seen means nothing to me. I choose my own path, and I will be whatever I want to be.
Casimir, Severus is actually a god, and he is,
Oh, fuck Severus. Really? Fuck Severus. Many gods exist in this world. He doesn't get to dictate what my future looks like. And, listen, if my future is wonderful and great and fantastic, then maybe I will actively choose it and I shall fall into this path just because I so wish, but... You know, if you're trying to tell me my future is to trip and die tomorrow, then... No, I won't. I just won't. It won't happen. And there must be a way to circumvent this... If Severus can impose something on someone, then we can reject it. There must be a way.
I think your frustration is misdirect. The weave isn't a design or a plan that was thought up on the whim. The weave represents an acknowledgement of all the gods. Sometimes there is ill, sometimes there is joy, death and life, calamity and celebration. These things are present in all mortal futures, pasts, and presents, just as there are present in all the gods.
Well, if I decide the gods aren't very good writers, I'm not going to follow their narrative, am I?
I don't think it's a choice most of the time.
Why not? We're free to choose whatever we like.
Oh.
And if practically,
Yes, no.
logistically, we are actually not free to choose, then I must find a way to make it so.
I'm beginning to see that if anyone could, it might be you.
That's very encouraging. And it will be.
Kind of just like, looks a bit confused. He's like, I guess so.
Right. There we go. We can add that to our list. If it is not actually possible to defy the weave, then let's find a way to do it. Great. Good. Well, that's one thing ticked off the list.
Now that your letter is to be received by Fazul, and you have been told, we should get some rest.
Let's hope the sleep is a little better this time,
I think some of us should stay awake. It concerns me that we were all reached out simultaneously.
That also concerns me quite a bit.
And
I don't want to put anyone on edge, but it felt kind of real.
indeed. And to what purpose? We were not tested or, as before, asked for some power. It was a goal which is not clear. Why bring us to this place? Is it a taunt or perhaps a maneuvering? Something of some significance? Either way, I would be cautious about returning to this place, lest it become more real than we would like.
He looks quite thoughtful, but nods. I think it's difficult to comment, not quite remembering. Very well. A reattempt at rest it is.
Well, maybe you and I stay awake for a short while.
I like that idea.
And
Seems a little
maybe
shaken up.
And then you three try for some sleep. Hopefully, if we are not all dreaming at the same time, the vision will not be able to take us.
Very well. We reattempt the long rest, I suppose, DM.
With a couple of us on watch.
A couple of minutes go past, and there is a rapt knocking on the door as a couple of weavers whip around and kind of take a thing. And Jorin kind of goes over and opens the door. And yes, who pulls the door flies open, and a figure rolls in before the weavers kind of go and grab. And standing there is the slightly, very tanned, tall figure of a Mr. Ivor Montague, who
Oh
has
my
clearly tracked you
God.
down. As you will see, he's kind of, no, let me go. I must speak to him. He's impossible. Where is he? Points to Casimir.
Am I asleep at this point, or am I just still
You're
waking
awake.
up from
This
my
is not
bedroll like, oh no, I'm in danger?
I stand up
So,
and take
like,
like a defensive position.
yeah, absolutely. You're kind of, you were impossible to get alone.
Partially by design. Hello. He'll stand from his bedroll and sort
So
of.
he's now being restrained, like held back. Like, tell them I'm fine. Tell them it's fine.
Let him. Hang on. You might not be fine, actually. Just in case you are a shape-changing assassin, Monty, when we first met, Traders Plaza, when we were children, you gave me something. What was it?
Am I expected to remember this?
No, DM. It was an apple. Monty gave Casimir an apple.
An apple from my garden.
He's fine. Let him go.
Shrugs it off. Takes a step forward. The rest, everyone is watching it. You can all ask questions or whatever, but at this point, just fairly laser focused in on Casimir.
Casimir,
What the fuck are you doing?
do you want us to
No.
incapacitate this man?
No, please do not incapacitate him. What are you doing, actually? Why are you... It's insane for you to be here. You can't be here.
Before we get into what I'm doing, this doesn't look like a library in Dominus. This doesn't look like you're studying.
Casimir,
This isn't keeping a low profile.
how did this man find this place?
That's a very good
I watched
question.
you leave. I saw you go under. I waited for you to leave. It's been hours. What are you doing down here? What are all these machines for? What is going on?
Well, we
Jeez.
were hiding from shape-changing assassins. I'm so sorry to have... I did mean to find you last night. It's just I had Abaddon the Despoiler rifle around in my mind. Then assassins came for us, and we killed them, but there are more. We so spent the night in this cellar in order to, wait it out. Then a renegade shard of divinity assailed us in our dreams, killed us as if it were reality. I hope you can appreciate there's been quite a lot happening in the last few hours, which is why I'm afraid I could not make myself at your disposal alone. He kind of trails off, and maybe for you, Polydamas, particularly as the really insightful members of the group, Casimir's standing kind of differently. Rather than being poncy and kind of irritating, it's kind of all pretense is kind of just sort of disappearing as he just talks to this guy. And he just seems like the most normal person you have ever seen him. This seems like actually quite a normal human being you are watching have a conversation. So, yeah, that's the long and short of it.
This person's going to take a couple of steps forward toward Casimir. I don't know if you guys can react to that.
What doesn't look like
Can I
he's gonna
insight
do
check
it.
the body language of the stepping forward?
Yeah.
9. Natural 2.
9.
What? You're the insight
Seems
man!
I can insight.
Well, you're the
Why
insight
not?
men.
I'm watching intently, and I got 19.
Kind of sits a step forward, and you're not entirely sure if he's about to punch or hug Casimir, but his shoulders kind of shag, and he just grabs hold of Casimir's shoulders and fully embraces him and holds him close.
Yeah, he gets a big hug back at that one, and it's very much there seems a lot of relief in that one. And Casimir sort of sighs and says, "Do you know, this is the longest we've been parted since the day we met. 8 months."
So I know.
What have you been doing? Have you been married off yet? Are you?
No one suitable. I intercepted a letter bound for my mother. I knew you were here. She did not. Although I must admit,
You
I didn't
intercepted
expect
it.
to
You're
find...
checking the post now.
Somebody tipped me off. I didn't expect that you'd be quite so exuberantly on display, especially in front of my mother. You know she's going to petition Alara tomorrow.
Yes, I do actually trust Elara with my life. She is sweet, terribly so, dreadfully sweet. In fact, it's to her own detriment, I'm afraid. She will have my back. I feel after everything we experienced in the Stormlands together. Your mother
I've
will not
received a
get
full
far.
report of your battle with Razor. The rest of you seem... Kind of looks round to Pod, Quan, Arvis, Mercy.
Or just gives kind of like a awkward like smile. Like,
Oh, I've
Hey
told
there.
you about them all in my letters. So, and he points to Mercy. This one is,
Yes.
Yes, of course. I gave you them all pseudonyms, so you won't know their names. This is Mercy, codenamed the worst assassin in the world.
Yes.
This is Pod, who I
What's
call
my name?
Sheep, because when we first met you, you were a sheep. You were under the polymorph spell, and we all thought you were just a farm animal until you ceased to be one in your trial.
Yes, and
That makes sense.
the paladin, right?
Is still the paladin. I occasionally call him Quan if I must, but he is still the paladin.
And the other one, this one, points at Arvis.
Oh, that's Rodent for obvious reasons. Arvis.
Attacked. Like I said, Lara is my mother is going to petition Lara tomorrow for your immediate arrest.
Well, she's not.
Oh yes, your mother gave me all these evidence and papers of your crimes. I was planning on reading them in the morning.
My crimes, fantastic. I'm
Sounds
curious.
like some standard large reading.
I'm curious what she has on me. Probably, well, maybe a lot. I'm unsure. And he kind of looks up at Monty. Is it bad? How bad is it? You've seen it all, I assume.
He sighs and says, "Well, you wouldn't win a trial in Sacramar, and it's quite convincing. I know you didn't burn down the house, but
No.
the others."
This says there's multiple eyewitnesses that you did, though.
I didn't. I really didn't. I liked that house. I liked it a lot. Why would I would have burnt down my 70-odd pairs of shoes. Heavens, can you imagine doing that? What sort of insanity would have to grip me there?
That's a lot of shoes.
A lot of shoes. Which,
Maybe.
He kind of looks up at Monty. Thank you for them over the many years.
Who knows? The same insanity that
70
prompted you to have 70 pairs of shoes.
Well, I'll be needing some more. He kind of looks up again
Well, you need
at
70
Monty,
pairs of
hopefully.
shoes. You need them for midsummer. You need them for various events. Like 70 is actually quite a low number for if you're going to wear a different pair to every formal event you go to.
Listen, Valhalla is a little different from the rest of the world. We have dress codes. We have
A lot of
events.
shoes.
Pod just says, Pod, your shield says, Poncy bastards.
And I mean, to be honest, Monty's not even that bad. He's the only person I know who's repeated a pair of shoes in public events within a year. It's ridiculous, really.
The first time he kind of laughs with something that somebody said. He just kind of like smiles. Very high society, I guess.
We have something of a culture of showing off, I suppose. Sort of how it goes, but
How? How could you be so reckless?
What do you mean reckless?
I mean, when you left, you were going to bury yourself in a book somewhere, far away from prying eyes, and hide. Looks around. I guess, in the strictest terms, this is hiding.
And I do have a book.
For the last 2-3 months?
Well, listen, Dominus, I did indeed go to Dominus. I had every intention of sitting in a library, maintaining a low profile, honing my craft, etc., etc. I kept a low profile-ish. I spent all the money you gave me within 6 months. And I needed some more. I also wasn't getting very far, to be honest, Monty. I tried with the good folk of the city, the wizards, the investigators. I tried to find someone who might be worth a conversation about the Order and Sacramart, but I didn't get very far, and I thought, well, seeing as I need money and I need power, I might as well look for an opportunity to amass the two at the same time, and here I am, in the Stormlands. I've crowned a new queen. I was quite wealthy until I spent it all on books and this fun little wand and this nice ring and some clothes. But I now do have quite powerful allies. So, all very successful, I would say.
Successful.
Pod kind of like puffs his chest out a little bit with the mention of powerful allies. He's like,
Yep. Your friend's weave is as clear as a mid-spring pool, shallow and wide. How did you meet? How does a victim of a weird-rending experiment come to meet a noble of the House of Law?
Well, it was happenstance, to be honest. I wish I could claim credit for having planned it all, but, no, I was sat on a box in Traders Plaza. I'd not been so successful in finding myself something to eat, and
I fed him and he did my homework for me.
that's the long and short.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Mm.
I, look, to be a little sappy about it, I'd probably not be alive were it not for Monty's slightly curious sense of adventure and lack of avenue to, do anything other than what his mother prescribes, and we've mutually helped each other over the years. I've helped him fool his tutors into having them think that he is even half ready to inherit the House of Law or knows anything about law at all, actually. You don't know anything, do you? And yes, I slept in his cupboard for many a year. His mother never knew. I'm sure some of the serving girls did, but that's about it. So yes, he fed me and I did his homework.
A very
But the-
simplified version. But yes.
The lonely boy who cried himself to sleep, played the piano when he thought no one was watching, took upon the first person who looked like they might be a friend.
And so ceased.
How on earth do you know about the piano? Who is this? Casimir.
Well, to be fair, I might actually have told him you're quite a good pianist. But no, Mercy sees past, present, and future as one great weave, and can tell you about any aspect of your life, really. It's quite uncanny. A little spooky.
But
Maybe you need-
your friend Casimir is difficult. Like trying to see which way a leaf will blow.
There's a belly laugh at that point from Monty.
Why are you laughing about me? And, by the way, this is probably the first time that Monty has ever seen Casimir interact with people other than himself and not lie about what his name is or, not... It's probably quite a strange experience seeing him be a human being or a person with people other than just himself.
Because he's right, Casimir. You can be difficult. It's charming, but you are.
Well, isn't the point of having multiple friends that we all get along? It's not that you band together and bully me. What is this? Aren't you meant to sort of mutually agree I'm fantastic and you're all glad I'm in your lives? Isn't that what's meant to happen here?
You are an unlikely pairing. I did not see your weaves interwoven in any way. It's strange. You spent so much time together, and yet it's so separate.
Well, we really sort of kept the fact we were friends secret, really. Nobody knew. We could never spend time together. I don't think we've ever in public interacted where I wasn't disguising myself as someone else. Except, of course, when we just sat on the docks in, linen shirts and hoods and drank beer. No, we
Watch the
had...
boats come in and out, guessing
Yeah.
what's on board.
We had no opportunity, really, to do anything together. I mean, we did everything, but also somehow nothing. I couldn't go to an event with him. We couldn't. He goes off and plays polo, and I might sit on a tree a mile out of the grounds and watch from afar. And it's not
polo.
Oh, game, horses, sticks, very dangerous. Lucky to not have broken his neck.
There was one.
I always I don't know. I always found myself trying not to spend too much time around the house Montague. It was always dangerous for us to be seen together. There was too much risk should the heir to the House of Law ever be caught, and he kind of turns around as he's talking to Monty, ever be caught fraternising with a wanted criminal, which again begs the question, why, when I left Sacramar to protect you, have you come to find me all the way over here? Isn't that somewhat counterproductive to my leaving? Is this not jeopardising yourself?
It's only counterproductive if you weren't spending your time claiming to be me with my signet ring, Casimir.
Yeah. Okay, no,
You are the most book-smart idiot I have ever had the misfortune of living with.
Misfortune? Misfortune, is it? I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. You've told me as much about 20 times. A week.
That was a bad idea, though. I am right.
Well...
Admit it. Come on. Just one.
I should not have proclaimed myself to be Ivor Montague in front of the tournament ground. I should not have done that. But...
So
But, there is a but here.
As so often, you struggle with consequences.
No, I don't struggle with consequences. I navigate them gracefully and well, and they never keep me down. My but is that it got everyone's attention. I ended up on Alara's squad, which is what won. So really, can we fault any of my actions to date? I don't think so.
Looks round, once you turns around to the rest of you, can any of you, over the past couple of months, fault Casimir's actions?
The answer's no. You can't.
No, absolutely not. They were always going to be this way.
Could have maybe done a little bit less necromancy, but other than that, great guy.
I'll keep that feedback on board. Thank you. A little bit less necromancy, but great guy.
Pod, Casimir, Quan, why don't we give these two their space?
Oh yes. Sorry, I'm not doing personal space.
Yes. Does anyone have any wine or candles?
That won't be necessary. I'm merely here to make sure, Casimir, that you know what is happening tomorrow and that you are ready to deal with it.
Monty, I find it really strange that you're using my first name.
K-Dog, no.
You only call me Casimir when you're very angry. And I really wish you weren't angry, considering it's been 8 months.
Crossley, I'm not angry. I'm
Just
trying to
disappointed.
convey the seriousness with which my mother has expressed over the past 24 hours about the glee she is going to find in taking you home to face justice.
Well, here's the thing. We'll be long gone by the end of tomorrow. We are being whisked away to the city of the dead in order to prevent our good friend Paladin here from exploding. Because
Juan,
presently,
nice to meet you.
yeah, presently he is containing the souls of some several thousand individuals of the Stormlands. Things have really gotten quite wild in the last 2 to 3 months of being with these people.
A little bit out there.
Yeah. I wasn't kidding about Abaddon the Despoiler and the Shard of Divinity. That really did happen. I have a lot to fill you in on.
You have a particular talent for being in the wrong place at the wrong time and somehow still the right outcome.
True. That is true. Well, I would appreciate some time maybe to catch up with him a bit if you don't mind. Guys,
Yes, there is a bed upstairs. And
well,
you can leave your sword by the door.
Well, a table would be fine. Do we have any food in the cellar? Is this?
No food.
Well,
the Weavers just not eat. Just
They
like,
do, just not here.
Just like dried mush and
Look, we just need to be able to chat a bit. I guess it will be good to
Nutrimush.
Catch up, and you can tell me about the absolute sweet fuck all I imagine you've been getting up to since I left. And I can tell you about the everything I've been doing.
Okay. I'm sure that would be... I'm sure I'd enjoy that.
Come, Pody, let's leave these two to their amorous engagements.
Friendly engagements. We're all very good friends over here.
Okay.
And
Put shuffles off.
I feel like the word friend is repeated a few too many times, maybe.
Friendly friends.
Friendliest of friends. And yeah, I think maybe he just catches Monty up on everything from important to very unimportant. And at some point he pulls out a rock from his pouch and he says, before I forget, and I forget very few things, but I did almost forget this one, I bought you this rock from the top of the Emerald Passageway, which looks over the entirety of the Stormlands. When we crossed into it, I thought of you, how much you would love to be there, how much I wish that you could have been there, and hopefully one day you can get me a rock from there too, when we finally free you from the clutches of your evil mother and can just go on some camping trips. And he places a rock in Monty's hands.
Monty takes it and kind of clasps behind it slightly and... Thank you. It was concern, if nothing else. I didn't know when I would next hear your name. It certainly wouldn't be in a report that you'd signed up to liberate the Stormlands under my name, a report to my mother that they should know that I was doing this. I thought I'd read some paper you published, or you'd come back. You had to change things.
I had planned to come back, and I still do plan to come back. You know, a lot of the reason I left was to protect you. Once it was uncovered what I was doing in the lady's mansion, it was too risky for me to stay, both of our sakes, but that doesn't mean I don't have every intention of not only returning to destroy the Order, but also free you to fix your life.
It's getting worse. I see the reports. Mother's allowing me not more freedom, but more information, and...
You're seeing them? How involved is she?
If not in the activity, then certainly the cover.
Hang on, this is important. He's going to stick his head out the room and be like, Mercy, Pod, Quad, Arvis, this is important. You should come for this.
I don't think we've gone very far. Like, we've just...
No, not very far.
You still have your clothes on?
Yes.
Why would I not have my clothes on, Mercy? What are you implying?
This isn't how I saw it.
What do you mean,
All of you. Like Monty just wrote, all of you. I don't know what Casimir told you, and I don't know about what happened, but there's one thing that is true. Something is happening to children on Sakramar. Tieflings and Azamars predominantly. They go missing. No one follows up. No one cares. I've seen the missing baby reports. I've seen where they go, and if anything, it's getting worse.
I was one of those individuals, Mercy. This is, as you put it, a weird-rending experiment that's been over a decade in the making. I escaped, but others shan't have. Many...
And you're saying this man knows about this? This
No,
shallow pool?
you have to stop calling him a shallow pool.
If you call me Shadowpool, I will refer to you as the worst assassin in the world. Can we not reach some more equitable association?
Of course, Ivor Montague, but your life is so easy.
Is that a bad thing? I think most of us would be pretty jealous about that.
Poncy bastard just repeated.
What I will say is that I would give quite a lot to trade lives with Monty, I really would, but I think that probably goes both ways, doesn't it? What he has in the safety of being able to do what he wants insofar as he can at least lie in bed safely all day, I have in freedom to do what I want unfiltered. I can go where I wish, speak to who I wish. I've not seen him able to leave his house unchaperoned without him having to sneak. We both got very good at climbing the trees up and down around his windows and houses.
If not a puddle, then a sealed bottle.
And a big one, not a bottle.
Anyway.
A bottle's small. You're deeper than a bottle. I'm sure we could call you a sort of sealed tank or something. Don't sell yourself short.
Regardless, I wanted to see you, but to tell you that it's getting worse. That you were right. My mother, however unsure she is of the consequences, and whatever reason, is covering up.
We have gained some insight into what it is I think they're doing. He recounts the Stormlands and the blood magic and how he's fairly certain that, this probably is the same as what is happening to the kids as what happened to Casimir when he was younger. So we at least have something of a lead. I think we're getting closer, but the problem is, Monty, even if I came back now, if we found ourselves face to face with the High Praetor's well of blood magic he's carefully been ensorceling out of the youth of Sakramar for over a decade, we wouldn't
think that's what he's doing.
Well, probably. Who knows to what end? It's almost certainly not to kill Savras, as was Razor's plan, but to whatever end it is, we would be in much the same dilemma where if we destroyed it, we'd have another Quan, but probably not, because the idea that Quan can even contain the energy in the first place is an outrage. It would probably just escape and decimate the entire city, to be frank. we have no way of handling it. We could get there, we could kill the Praetor, maybe. But I suppose we don't even know what we're up against yet.
Tell us what you know, Montague.
He kind of thinks about it and is like, it's precious little. I discovered there's a separate file and folder for some missing people's cases or reports, filed under DN. Do not follow up. It's just full of reports of missing Tiefling and Azamar children. My mother's study when I was allowed alone for some time. I remembered what you said, and I always struggled with it. I didn't know what purpose or why or for what reason. I still don't. It's undeniable. Tiefling and Azamar children are going missing across Sakramar. Someone knows why, and someone has managed to convince my mother it is not worth looking into.
She's either been told to not look into it or she's directly supporting it.
Or threatened, or blackmailed.
Oh, your mic input suddenly got nuts.
Or threatened, or blackmailed.
Ah.
Where did it go?
Switch to the good one now. Or threatened, or blackmailed, or some other reason. But
Monty, your mother is an abusive witch, but do you think she's evil? She's beaten you, certainly, but do you think she would abet in the, well, continued murder of that many?
it has a sense of right and wrong that is enviable. And she only wants she only believes she's doing what's best for me. Rightly or wrongly.
Deeply wrong.
I struggle to hate her like you do.
I wish you could. But that's beside the point. She was, well, we saw the pair of you with High Arbiter, High Sovereign, Casimir knows this, Lysander.
Sovereign Arbiter Lysander Valtorin.
Yeah, Sovereign Arbiter Lysander Valtorin. Do you know anything about that relationship? But I've literally just forgot the string of 4 words. I'm normally good at this. The head of Dominus has requested our services. I don't know for what. I was going to follow it up today before we're whisked away to Alarafa. Is there anything there?
It's a meeting I was permitted to go to the villa. I wasn't permitted inside the meeting with that order. I'm unsure. No.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well, let's look into that one. Monty, I am worried if you look into this any further back at home, you are putting yourself in grave danger. If it is indeed blood magic, you are not equipped. You're a brilliant swordsman. Very, very good. You are not equipped to handle blood mages, I promise you that. Please, look after yourself. Don't do anything silly. Don't do anything I would do. If you look at a situation and think that I would engage with it, don't.
Monty takes for a second and reaches down and begins absentmindedly stroking a stone on the ground, almost in thought. And
that's the pet rock.
Yep. And looks.
There's a pet rock.
And says,
I just gave him a rock. It's his pet rock now.
Are you coming home?
Was that an am I? Or when?
Yes. Or are you and when?
I don't know. like I said, we're going to Alaratha to fix the paladin. We have many things we ought to do. Look, knowing that a decade's worth of lives have been lost, knowing now that it's blood magic, knowing now we at least have something to start with. I mean, I'm stronger than I was. I would stand more of a chance against the Order. I don't know. I don't know what it would take to win. I suppose I don't know enough. I'm hoping in Alaratha, if there's anywhere in the world I might learn how to at least disperse whatever blood magic he's collected, it will be there. That is something I certainly will do whilst we're there, but what we do from that point, I can't say.
Well, I doubt you're going to keep a low profile this time, but...
Not in the City of the Dead. Coming home, maybe.
Just let me know what I can do to help.
You can help me by staying safe. I'll sleep a lot better at night knowing you're not diving headfirst into Order documents and...
Keep separate from it for now, and tomorrow. Lara, you don't intend to be here to face the charges.
I might pop my head in and tell your mother to fuck off, but... I don't know when we're going to be whisked away by the
She needs that
Archon.
on occasion.
She needs that every day.
Okay. He kind of puts his hand, rubs it on his shoulder and grips it and tugs a little bit. If you die, I will fucking kill you.
That's fair, likewise. But I won't die. If there is anyone particularly who will not die, it is me.
Steps up and says, my absence will be noticed. My mother was called into a meeting with the Sovereign and basically everybody important who wasn't an Archon to discuss the night's events.
The upcoming war. Don't get drafted into that either.
No, quite.
It's been good to see you, and I hope it is soon that we see you again. I can't promise that our next destination will be Sacramarin, maybe, but as I said, we have much to consider.
Keep me updated, and good luck. It's been nice to see you too. As he looks around at each of you and says, look after him. He needs it, despite what he thinks.
I don't need. I guess
Not
when he leaves, Casimir will maybe let him get a few steps out of the door and then run after him and give him another big hug.
okay. Sure, gets a hug back.
Just before the hug, Mercy says to Monty, you have a lot of potential, Ivor Montague.
Roll a weave check or an insight check.
Yo.
This is where Jamie's like, he dies next week. He's gonna get fridged.
My weave was an 11. Do you want the insight, or is it one of the other?
That's sorry, with the weave. Sorry, to be clear, was that your D100? Was 11?
Oh no, sorry.
Your wisdom saving throw was first.
Yeah, okay. So the insight is 26, and the D100 is 59.
59. Okay. You get the sense that Monty and they're separate from you, but eventually, far down the line, their weaves are intertwined in Davris's plan. But it's a different Monty. You see him standing tall, not slightly, taller to some extent, red eyes, elongated fangs. Some change happens over Monty in his future.
You have many choices, which most people do not. Your decisions have great weight,
Thank
And you can touch the lives of many people. Carry this with you.
Not solemnly, as if not quite understanding, but I shall. Thank you. And bows to you a little bit.
As he hugs him on the way out, he'll just sort of say, "We'll get you a rock from Alarafa as well. We can start a collection. Consider it a promise we'll visit all these places together one day.
I'll start building something out of them.
We only have one, so you won't get very far.
Them. Many. I'm sure you'll bring
Hopefully
more.
not too many. I don't want to travel too much before I come back. The sentiment's lovely. I'll see you soon.
Okay. With the time and aware of, started a bit late, we will take a short break there as you can all contemplate, obviously, the events of last night, Monty's message, which not uncommon, perhaps confirms some of what Casimir was saying, and we'll deal with the events of waking up in 10 minutes, back at 20 past. Catch you all soon.
Hello, welcome to the Brennan Lee Mulligan Appreciation Society.
I'm tired of pretending that Brennan Lee Mulligan isn't hot, and
Why are you pretending?
I love birds
true.
too. I snack and love birds too. What can I say?
Oh,
Yeah.
Brennan.
What was there's a clip of him where he's like, I cannot win. That whole speech must it's incredible.
It's the I always
half of it
lose.
is improvised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cannot win.
Dungeons and Dragons of our own.
Unmute yourselves for a single 2 seconds.
1, 2.
I can no longer amuse myself.
The entertainment is done. I can't.
I was told merely to prepare for 2 seconds. It's gone over time.
You left us in a moment where you were describing stuff, though.
Yeah, sorry. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. The day after, or not really the day after, Monty leaves, the rest of you reconvene, and you have much to think about and consider. You have limited time. You have enemies at your gates, both trying to kill you or arrest you or imprison you. So, D&D Boyband, bear in mind you are down 2 members, and you have one of your members about to explode in a festival of soul energy. What do you choose? Is there anything you would like to talk about? Festival sounds like way too happy a word. Is there anything you would like to talk about before you go to sleep and fully rest? Or are you going to wake up in the morning to discuss all of this? And what would you like to do?
I mean, have we still been interrupted, right? We haven't had a long rest yet.
Yeah.
No, you
I would
haven't.
suggest we all rest first and then talk about stuff in the morning.
Yeah, I guess maybe while people are nodding off, maybe he would ask for the documents that Mercy had and just check if there's anything important while he, does a bit of a read, goes to sleep, and if there's anything worth talking about, talk about it in the morning.
Yeah. Okay, hand them over.
Yeah. Casimir, for you, this is the first time you've seen many of the accusations laid out before you, and some of them are true from your teenage days of certain guards, but you obviously remember them differently. You know that you did these things.
I definitely
but
did
you had
kill
reasons
Mateus,
for them.
yes.
You did kill Mateus. You did kill people because they were after you. You
Mhm.
killed people in your early teenage years who were attempting to remove you from your home, as such it were, on the streets. This is all you can justify all of these, but it's not true. The thing you certainly remember not doing, though, are some of the things you're accused to do with arson. And it's interesting to see how that is being portrayed. And you, perhaps, not dreaming of Bane or Vecna or Monty or Fazul, perhaps dream of your time in Lady Vittoria Donatari's house, the events that led you to leave, and the party where you met the Praetor, who saw right through your disguise. Pod, you cannot help but get drawn to and fro from your memory of your home, what happened to it. And throughout the whole thing, you just hear Modi's voice chastising you for not doing enough in the background. And no matter how much you try to escape,
brothers, isn't it? They're just...
You can't help but wake up without the feeling of disappointment upon you. Mercy, you don't remember dreaming ever before. until you wake up with an intense sense that everything you dreamed about your time recently, your friends, your family, it's real. It's all real. And it takes a second for you to realize that that wasn't the case. And dreaming, or being at least unconscious, or letting your imagination exist, is something that seems to have stirred ever so slightly at the bottom of your subconscious. And whilst not necessarily taking form yet, I would say you are more anxious and worried about the day ahead of you than you have been in some time.
Yeah,
Or if you wake up.
Maybe as we're sort of poking around, sorting ourselves out for the day, he'll return the documents to Mercy, I think, and say, "Do you know, some of that really was a surprise. I really have been framed quite thoroughly for the murder of my eventual benefactor and the arson of her home."
You can see why it's such a convincing narrative. The string of, well, serial murders portrays you as a deeply violent, psychotic, and remorseless individual who really culminated in a pièce de résistance of murder by burning down a kind old woman in her home.
It certainly does
these
look
things-
like that, doesn't it?
Now, I don't know, Casimir, whether all of these things are true, but even if some of them are true, it's easy to see why someone would believe the others.
Well, I did kill Mateus. Of course. I had to on the way out of the blood magic experience. But that aside, you know, I did what probably most individuals who've had to live a life unhomed might have had to do in order to survive. But
You know, I always find a lie is better interwoven with the truth.
It's very true. No, I was fortunate enough to meet Lady Donati and I couldn't haunt Monty's bedroom forever. When we hit 20, it was a bit much. Not to mention I sort of needed more space for all my things. It was dangerous for him. He found me somebody who probably wouldn't ask questions, and of course she didn't, rather couldn't, but she was kind to me. Her staff were very kind indeed. She took me in. I lived there for some years. Until I met the Praetor at an event, and it all came crashing down within half an hour. I had had the home burned down, and I had to leave. I don't know why or how he recognized me so fast, or I don't really fully understand it myself, to be honest, Mercy. I thought at first he must have just recognized me as an individual who'd committed past crimes, but thinking about it, it can't have been that. I wonder if maybe if he is collecting blood magic, he recognized it on me, as the necromancy I do. Maybe he saw something of that in me and wanted it back and tried to chase me out of my home. I'm not sure. I cannot speak to his motivations there at all, but I have been framed for it, and the bounty he's placed on my head is exorbitant. 25,000 gold for me. I mean, I'm wonderful and worth an awful lot, but objectively, when you're hunting down a criminal, there's more gold than you can fathom. As a person, I am worth far more than that. As a headhunting job, not at all.
Jamie, what would Mercy know about the Golden Order in particular?
Make a history roll, but you can have it with advantage given your experience.
That is truly horrendous.
With advantage?
Yeah, truly horrendous. Wow. 11.
Okay, you have needed to know relatively little other than how to get past the customs, the understanding. the Golden Order rule the first preserve almost entirely from their base in Sakramar. Given that there is the west of Lukai is affected by Prologium, and therefore it can be slightly unsustainable or unpredictable. The first preserve, given that there is no plane there, given there are no change depending on...
It's the
second preserve. Sorry, ignore me. Thank you. Second preserve.
I don't even know your own world.
I don't even know my own world. Given that there is relatively little change there, depending on the year, it is a beacon of stability along with Dominus. They are incredibly wealthy, hence the name. You're also aware that they use the facsimile of religion in much of what they do. They are very close allies to the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, but almost only in name. They are an intensely mercantile, wealthy civilization that drapes themselves in the trappings of religion, but more represent perhaps the most powerful navy and trading district within Lukai. They have various systems: the House of the House of Boat, the House of the Sea, House of Law, House of Justice, and led by the Praetor. Given the low roll, that is about all you get. You are just aware that they are the rulers of the Second Preserve, that they traipse themselves in religion to better appeal to the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, their closest allies, and to give themselves some level of authority. However, underneath, it is all about, to some extent, wealth, money, trading. That's your history and knowledge.
Because they don't have a god, right? They're missing a prime deity in that preserve.
So like the description
godless
is like the Catholic Church, or it sounds to me like the Catholic Church. But is
without a god.
Without a god. How are they seen? Do you know what I mean? Like nowadays, I think that there's a lot of corruption associated, and a bit sort of
the average person.
How are they seen externally?
Yeah, no, the average person throughout Lukai will see it as a beacon of prosperity. Going there, it's an incredibly wealthy city, but there is a incredibly clear divide. You would have been there, so even though with your role you would have seen this, there is a stark divide between the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
And the stuff about 70 shoes or whatever is not uncommon. It is, I'd say, if you're going to use the Gini coefficient of wealth, like wealth inequality, it is one of the highest places in Lukai. There are tall spires of marble buildings constructed simply for the vanity of some noble and people who barely make a living clearing the docks. The rest of Lukai sees it as a beacon of prosperity and religious importance there, and archaeological importance. So not only, obviously, many of the mysteries of Lukai is what happened to the Lost Plain. Areas around it are areas of archaeological interest, but most of Lukai will have a positive opinion of the Golden Order itself. Ships sail everywhere.
So the Sunken Isles where Fazula's going is just north of Sakramar, right? That is like a...
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess as Casimir describes this, Mercy would be like, it's probably to do with the blood magic, as you've suspected. No other reason could, distinguish you in such a way, assuming that you weren't apprehended or detected before.
No, and to be honest, look at the charges from when I was a teenager, when I killed Mateus. The eyewitness accounts are tenuous at best. I mean, it's a description, it's not... The pictures they have of me aren't good. They're loosely a young tiefling with curled black hair and pink skin, but there's a very high tiefling population in Varsala. You wouldn't find me from that alone. So when I went to that party a decade on, there should have been no way the Praetor would recognise me. So I think it must be the necromancy, the blood magic, something about it.
the level of reward as well is, you're right, reflective of something that an importance of your capture or execution beyond your simple life.
I wonder if it's simply because he knows I must have been the one that got away, and therefore I'm the one that can expose him. Or he just wants back whatever it is I developed, took, unlocked, when it was I was subject to the weird rending and obtained my necromancy.
I'm beginning to think, Casimir, that you are being sought because you have seen or know something that you should not know, and that you are a loose end. Therefore, you might well be the key.
Loose end and a loose cannon. Terrible for him.
Poetic in a way, isn't it?
I've been thinking quite intently on Monty's question last night when I will return. You must understand I quite desperately wish to. I want nothing more than to defeat the Praetor. It's why I've done everything the last decade. But I want to know I can win. I don't want to get on a ship and make us all sail back there if I don't think we stand a chance against the Order.
Nah, I'd win.
If I can find an answer to the blood magic conundrum in the City of the Dead, then maybe that's it, but I don't know. I want to. Of course I want to.
I agree, but for different reasons. If we've come upon the source of this without a way to safely remedy it, we will be creating more or worse disasters than the one that has already befallen Quan.
As I sort of sympathetically drift towards the glowing paladin.
Yeah, just kind of snoring a little bit. It's not awake right now.
He looks so angelic when he sleeps. He's so shiny.
You can see the pain on his face.
So blood magic or natural complexion?
It's hard to tell, isn't it? He's very radiant. Anyway.
Quan turns over and yawns.
Anyway, I suppose we have a short list of things to do before we're off, so... To the Sovereign Arbiter, to Alara, and then to the City of the Dead, I think.
And avoid being sheared.
Yes, and avoid your assassins. We have some ways of disguising ourselves, don't we?
I do. I can't help you guys, I'm afraid.
I can do it.
You missed the point. The disguise is not the problem.
Oh, of course.
If they know you will be there, it matters not whether you're wearing the face of another.
Yes, we're back to rolling dice and Pod randomly deciding what number it should be.
Oh, I forgot to do that. Should I roll the dice again? Should I tell you that I'm going to roll the dice? Should I forget?
Going to get some rest. Let's discuss dice rolling and how we might do these things in the safest way tomorrow.
I assume this is the morning.
Oh, is it the morning?
Yeah. We've rested. Yeah.
Okay, ignore that. Then Pod.
Time to roll the dice, I guess. What side of dice is this that you're giving me? We're doing a 6-sided dice, or I've forgotten.
Whatever. Did we give you a 20 for the memes?
That was a me question.
Yeah, I think we gave you a 20 for the memes.
Yeah, we'll do a d20 for the memes. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
He rolls it and just 4.
What does that mean?
Wait, I was supposed to think of a number.
What does that mean?
It means we go at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
How long is that, Jamie?
Well, if you've woken up, it's like 7, 8. You're waiting a long time.
Do you think the Archon would have left before 4?
Yeah, how long's the Archon supposed to be staying for?
The morning.
Do you think? But
Maybe I'll roll again. Let's just roll again.
You know, maybe it will be hustling and bustling and everyone will be panicking about war, so we won't be alone anywhere. Who will try and assassinate us when everyone's running around us like headless chickens?
Maybe we
You're right.
go at 10.
Okay.
Great. But now we know it's 10.
It is.
Just roll it. Just roll a d20, a d100.
Sure. D100s. I got a 79.
Okay, that was good. So, choosing a random time. Arvis, Quan, Casimir, Mercy. How'd you all sneak out, making your overtures to Jorin and Eldon, and move to the villa on the outskirts of town? They're very much grand, to the extent that areas around Fort Valor can be banned. You see the banners of Dominus draped around, and you know as you approach Base 79, you have not met anybody. Mercy, what face will you be wearing for this? Mercy's not here, that's fine.
Mercy looks like a ghost. See that white sheet?
Yeah, true.
Ben's spooky.
And you are present yourselves. You are asked for your businesses. You let them know that Destiny's boys have business with the son of Altorin.
Destiny's boys have business with you.
You are ushered in to a breakfast room where sort of an arbiter, as you can see, wearing slightly more casual robes than you've seen before, but nonetheless still very finely made, tailored, sitting down, kind of beginning to finish up, plates getting clear for breakfast, and looks up at each of you and says, I'm grateful that you found time in your busy schedule to make your acquaintance. Please, wine, it's a little early, wine, food. Sit. And she kind of gestures to the long table that clearly doesn't belong to her. It belongs to someone else that she's requisitioned for this. Please, sit. Is there anything I can get to any of you?
If you have any seafood, I'll take seafood.
Yes, please. Snaps her fingers and a couple of
for breakfast.
Assortment of shellfish and red snappers is brought to the table.
Caswell looks so pleased. He's loading up with the lemon and the salt, and he's an oyster guy. So, apologies for having to delay the meeting. You understand, we certainly would have come to meet you yesterday, could we have. Only, it was quite a big day for everyone, I fear. Do I get the vibe the war has been announced? Does she know? Did she know about the war?
She didn't. She gave the opinion she did, yes.
Does she fuck with the war?
Yeah. Mercy, I asked what face you're wearing.
I am wearing Atropos. Yeah, I want to say goodbye to Alara.
So yes, she did know about the war. Seems to, the Lady Sovereign. What question did you ask, Casimir? Sorry.
I just gave our apologies for having to come this morning and not yesterday.
Oh, I understand. The guests of the hour. Thank you for making time.
Well, we are curious to understand more about your request. you will understand, of course, we cannot guarantee we can fulfill it. It will depend somewhat on the terms and the precise context, but certainly it sounds like the sort of work we might be able to do. She requested that we were to investigate somebody of importance, a great power in the world that could not get back to her, right? That was the vague context she gave us, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, pretty much. Correct. Well, do you want me to just launch right into it, or do you have questions about your fee, or
I think
I'm not used to hiring mercenaries.
Let's do fees at the end, perhaps, when we have an idea of the scale of the task. Request first, and then let's talk logistics.
Some of you, I'm sure, will be personally and keenly aware of the Wars of Shame.
The War of Shame was when... What was that?
Mercy's order was wiped out. It was the battle of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy versus the Mystic Academia, where the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy declared war on the Mystic Academia for Lilith ascending to godhood.
Fascinating time, yes.
Yes, quite possibly. There are those who see the actions of the ecclesiarchy within the context that they prescribe, a necessary step taken against an encroaching threat. And there are those who see them for what they might be, a power grab. I would ask you to investigate Archprelate Cassian Viero. I understand that
that's the head of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy.
The head of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, not necessarily them. They're quite difficult above, but their army is once again training for war. Not this war with Abaddon. That came out of nowhere. Honestly, it's thrown quite a wrench in the plan. But I still
is
think
Abaddon marching to war? Did they say?
I'm not privy to conversations between Archons, sadly.
Yeah.
You can insight check it out if you want.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Conversations between Archons? This bitch doesn't know?
I want to know what Abaddon said.
Absolute lies.
I've rolled
We all do, but
2 minus 1, and it's a 1.
You trust them implicitly. You're hanging on their every word. You're like, damn, this person's important, and I'm important, so therefore they must be
I
right.
shit too. Well, I got a 12.
I got a 16.
Still believe that 16. They know more than they're letting on. Only Mercy knows that.
The rest of us are dumb.
Read people.
Yeah, and they're like, and it's just like, the ecclesiarchy command zealotry from their followers. It's not incorrect to argue they are one of the most powerful factions within Lukai, and them threatening war. They were barely brought to heel. The Academia would have been destroyed if not the direct intervention from the Archon Council.
And you've
I want to know what they're doing.
Stated they're training for war, and have been prior to Abaddon's announcement.
Yes.
Interesting.
It'd just be a precaution.
Do you have concerns as to what their target may be? Do you fear for Dominus?
It's the most valuable seat of power within Lokai. I worry for all of my allies. I simply wish you to gather more information for me.
Do you have a...
Quest.
Do you have a time limit on this one? a specificity in mind? Is it
I
per piece of information we will be rewarded as and when it arises? Or is this we will go straight to the ecclesiarchy and start digging?
I'm in a position I do not, which is uncertainty. I don't know if Abaddon's actions are in favor or against. So let me put it to you this way. So long as it is of consequence, your information will be valuable. I don't want you messaging me back that you found out that he wipes with his left hand, but I'm sure you can all... I trust you appreciate what information is valuable and which is not. Am I incorrect?
Yeah,
We
we
do
can
know.
make that judgment. Okay. All right. So we find pieces of information. We get it to you. We are rewarded for the quality of the information, the significance, the quantity. We are first and foremost a mercenary.
Part of what this is to establish your fee. I would say that if you can find to me the target that the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy's army were preparing to wage war on or defend against, that is what I would establish my fee on. And you can let me know what you think is a reasonable
Damn, don't do this to us.
compensation.
Don't make us come up with money numbers.
One of us. This is an Arvis job.
This is an Arvis job.
Can we have an
Arvis is
Arvis
now
roll?
I'll speak for Arvis and be like, well, obviously it will carry significant risks investigating the greatest power in Lakai, known for their brutality and warfare. It will be quite dangerous, I should think, if we are caught sniffing around. So, you will understand it will be quite a fee we will be asking for.
I need a number, my dear boy.
Oh, she's called me a dear boy. Wow.
Arvis, a dear boy, I think. But
No. I mean, I Casimir speaking because you won't catch me doing an Arvis.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah. I will not do my Kiwi relatives a disservice.
Understand that you mustn't let someone else decide your worth. I would never dictate price.
I don't know what we should ask for,
Mr. Crossley.
Can I do a quick weave check?
Yeah, sure.
This is going to be... I know this is going to be hard, but on the insane chance that I get it, I want to know what she does with this information.
Okay.
Because we had her talking sussy shit about the Shard of Unification.
I will say, Mercy, given your connection to the Wars of Shame, you may well roll with advantage on both of these rolls, and higher is better.
Come on. I'm just looking for, like, this doesn't, like, start a different kind of... I got a 19.
Okay.
I got a 19. So with the modifier,
that is...
With the modifier. Oh, without
that's
the
22, so I think that's a success. And then the D100s. 69!
Hey!
With advantage? With advantage.
Yeah, 69 is
69.
69 is good. She wants to fuck the high... sorry.
Oh my. Nice. Oh.
What's your second roll? Is it higher or lower?
It's lower.
Okay. Mercy. There's many threads around this woman, of which there are several. Your loyalty to Severus, not questioned. So here, you look at this, and I will say, based on your very high insight roll on this, you... the last time, and your conversation previously, the last time the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy sallied to war was to prevent Lilith's ascension, something your order directly tried to prevent. Now, your order may have suffered as a consequence of that failure.
Yeah.
But if the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy goes to war again, and you are sitting across somebody who you believe you can tie to blood magic, your mind cannot help but make connections.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
She's
So, like,
concerned the
and I'm
ecclesiarchy know what she's up to.
She is asking you to investigate one of the forces in Lukai who you believe would be most against something that someone else has. Sorry, so blood magic and investigation, which is interesting given what you have been, of her. Perhaps.
Even though my prejudice is against the ecclesiarchy for destroying the order and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, even though your prejudice is there, you're still like.
Principally, they're like the good guys because
they're not the good guys, but you know that they. I would say that based on the weave, that is the connection you are making. She is actively asking you to investigate the only other. Sorry, one of the few. Last time, such a dereliction of peace and balance within Lukai was done, as in actively going to war to conquer, was to stop someone ascending to godhood. And she is asking you to investigate why they are marshalling.
Okay. So I obviously won't say any of that shit in front of her.
No.
But just...
we got 10k each for liberating the Stormlands, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just say the prevention of possible war could save many lives.
I would think so.
What's the price of a life?
Incalculable, surely.
Incalculable.
But if you were to calculate...
Each must decide... Well, each must decide the value of their own life, surely. That's the only equitable way to decide. You mustn't allow someone else to value your life for you. You might find it's worth a lot less than you hoped.
For every party member.
Here's the thing, you asked me what I'm worth, but I'm very good at maths. I'm still finding it quite incalculable.
Are you asking that I...
No, I'm just...
a wish. No, to Mercy. To a wish to each of you. That is beyond my power and not a price I can pay, I'm sorry.
You asked a wish per person.
Is that what Alara promised you? Or your fee has gone up since?
I mean, it's probably gone up just like a little bit, you know?
Oh, before we were nobodies and now we're saviours of the Stormlands, so yes, it has rather escalated. I do think, rather than a wish, though, a favour, fulfilment of a request for each of us might well be within your power to grant.
A favour rather than a wish is, of course, something I would grant, yes. For each, though.
Well, you can expect that Pod will probably... What is it you like, Pod? You like leaves and sticks and things?
I mean, it depends on the size of the stick, but...
Pod probably won't ask you for a very big favour. I'll probably ask you for... Oh, I don't know, a vineyard? Something arbitrary and silly like that.
A favour, let's each of us name our prices. For some, a vineyard. For some, a stick. And for others, maybe a gold bar.
I feel like I might have sold myself short on this stick. I did not
Oh,
say
well,
I was...
speaking in
specifically wanted
hypotheticals, Pod, you're not married to the stick.
No, I'm definitely not married to a stick.
I'm not married to a vineyard either. Maybe in one.
I will say that my position and my authority in Dominus grants me a level of wealth and power that may overwhelm. You seem to be trying to take advantage of that. I will grant a favor, if reasonable. Land is fine, but I'm not here to acquiesce to your grandest desires for a mission that I hope is at least achievable. I'm not sending each of you to your death. So before we go on, would you like a word outside to perhaps level set your own understanding of our arrangement? Because I'm more than happy to walk away with nothing, if you are.
I think it would be quite dangerous for you to walk away having told us you want us specifically to investigate the ecclesiarchy, no?
Of course not.
Why would you say that?
Put things on the table. We know you're interested in them. You probably don't want us spreading that around. Why you've asked us to be discreet, no? It's not the danger of the task that concerns me.
So you've changed tack from over asking to threatening.
Is this a lamb cook situation? I don't know if I like this line.
It's not
consideration.
the threat I'm concerned about, Sovereign Arbiter. It is the discretion required of us that I think begets a favour. You are trusting us with something potentially dangerous on the understanding we have the good and common sense not to spread it around Lakai. Clearly we can be trusted, as we have proven with Alara. But
Was
note
I
that
wrong in my assumption?
No, but it puts us in a
Good!
dangerous position.
Then your discretion is guaranteed regardless of whether or not I hire you, unless of course you did intend to threaten me.
Things can happen. The burden of discretion is a heavy one.
Maybe we should talk outside.
Break your back while you discuss your price.
Maybe we
outside.
should talk outside. I think we should talk outside. Mercy, do you think we should talk outside? I think we should talk outside.
Fine. Let's level set. And he aggressively slaps an oyster.
As all five of you walk outside, presumably to discuss this outside. Go for it.
So we went in with the expectation that we'd get paid, which is, nice for a job. And we seem to be moving in the direction that we might get killed. I feel like we're not negotiating the best, it's not really.
Modi whispers in, I feel like we're not fully involved in all aspects.
Well,
you should tell them, Pod. We want to know what's going on.
She started it, Pod. She asked me what I was worth, and I'll have you know I am worth a lot. I do not take kindly to people questioning or doubting my worth.
Okay, I think there's maybe been some misunderstanding here.
I don't think so.
One. I don't think this is supposed to be like a. I mean, maybe I'm not going to say that she isn't. I just feel like it wasn't. We didn't come in with the intention of starting a fight or.
Montague is correct when he says, "You are a stupid, smart person." What kind of person who knows the powers of Dominus would threaten the sovereign arbiter?
Well,
you're a fool.
She insulted me,
and you get yourself killed.
Well, it's been fine to date, hasn't it? She's not going to kill me. She can't kill me.
You do not need to speak every thought that comes to your head.
Why not? They're good thoughts. I'm not wrong.
They are not. They are. We are not going to betray her confidence because she will murder us.
Fine. Just the knowledge that she is in some sort of situation with the Praetor really makes it difficult for me to sit there while she's questioning my worth.
Okay, can we just agree on a price for this
Let's-
particular job, and then maybe let's get out of here before like we.
Lara
do the
paid
talking.
us
You do it.
10,000 gold each. Let's ask for 15,000 gold each. And
That's a
leave.
good number. That's a great number. That's a lot of money.
50% isn't a
That's
big
a lot.
inflation. We should double it.
Fine, 20,000 gold each. But to be clear, I would like to talk about this again because I have something I would like to discuss. For this next conversation, please, can you not threaten or cajole or insult her so that she thinks that we are going to do this for her? Please, Casimir.
I don't think I'll be able to do that, so I won't say anything at all.
That's probably the best we're going to get. Pod,
Yes.
why don't you ask her nicely to pay us 20,000 gold each and say,
No, Pod, ask her about the village.
Fine. If an opportunity comes up, I'll ask her about the village. But this is a priority, okay?
no, Pod, don't ask her about the village.
Okay. Well, we're not asking about the village anymore, okay?
No, tell Mercy he doesn't understand. They don't understand. They will never understand.
I mean, I'm sure they will understand.
Pod,
It's,
I'm not going to have an argument with your brother via you. Just tell her we want 20,000 gold and that's it. And then we'll just go.
Sure. That's a simple enough request. I'm sure I can stick to it.
Okay. Good.
I think with that, we're ready to return to the room after a
We
very,
can
very
go
brief
back.
stint
Yeah.
outside.
Go back.
You're back inside the larger room, and the food has
what
been
kind of-
cleared away. There
yeah.
are no more oysters for Kazim.
But kind of like, not so sheepishly, but like, man, it looks a little uneasy. Walks up and he goes, "We as a group have decided that a fair price would be 20,000 gold pieces per party member. I assume alive, who comes back."
So you've abandoned the wish and the favor.
Yeah, we felt that was maybe a little bit, it just set us down a line of questioning that we just never really intended. It was a little, it's got out of hand.
There is, of course, room to negotiate the sovereign arbiter. And you...
Do you actually make that slip up, or is
And
that...
Casimir just like coughs on his glass of water.
Do you make
Yeah,
that
I
slip
probably
up
do.
actually? Or...
I probably do.
Yeah.
I'm not that smart.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Probably do. Would you like me to make a deception check?
Yeah. How badly do I react to this?
Is this a different day?
Yes. It's the
Okay, I'm
next
going to roll
day.
my portents and hope that I get a good number and can use it on this.
what is the...
Two.
Sorry.
That's a 19. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take this. I cannot fail this deception check.
19.
So I'm going to take the
As you
19.
you kind of
22.
masterfully disguise it. So between the five of you, 100,000 gold. It's a lot
Paul
to
kind of like
pay.
on the note of like that full price, like realizing the amount of gold that is, he kind of just like makes a bit of a face, like, "Oh God, that's a lot of money."
Casimir nods sagely, like this is a fine thing to ask for.
For that money, I assume complete discretion. Looks at Casimir very meaningfully.
Absolutely, he says, like loudly, trying to bring the attention back towards him. Absolute discretion, the most discretion. You won't hear a single word apart from the words that we tell you. Personally,
And
Complete discretion.
proof.
I mean, that seems pretty
I
fair.
don't want you heard or somebody said written confession, evidence, something verifiable beyond the words of the people within this room. And I will pay extra for motivation. Reason why. If they wish to invade the Stormlands because they are weak under Ilara's rule, I would like to know the second part of that.
Understood.
That seems
Proof.
fair.
And a bonus for motivation.
Who doesn't like a dude? And his voice kind of trails off as he realizes he's like talking complete shit. Motivational bonus. It's great.
And should any of you ever step inside Dominus, don't contact me. Don't message me.
Wouldn't
Separation
dream of
is
it.
what is required. Separation is what is required. Should you attend, or should you have evidence or knowledge, come to Dominus, and I will find you. Am I perfectly clear?
Absolutely.
Understood, Sovereign.
Thank you. Our business is concluded. Please. And some guards begin to come out and begin to, like, much less warmly than the first half of this conversation is done. And you are escorted outwards towards the villa and fairly unceremoniously deposited outside as they kind of fade back inside. And you look around, you see the gardens and the vineyards, and you look back and you can perhaps think about how
Casimir
that
just
conversation
immediately
went.
stands there, and about 2 seconds pass, and he just says, "We should raid her chambers right now."
I cannot think of a
Qantas,
word.
I'm not sure about that.
Think about it.
I mean,
I
if
am.
you want to do that as a individual thing that's got nothing to do with me,
If she's in
I can't
league
stop you.
with the Praetor, then the evidence might be right there.
Quan kind of sighs. Casimir, we knew that from the start. This was evidence gathering, and you walked in and you immediately threatened her. What do you know now other than you didn't before?
Well, no, but the evidence might be in her bedroom or study or something. We have an agreement. I was rather hoping we could negotiate a favour which would allow me to ask some inconvenient questions or request a difficult favour that she couldn't fulfil when I asked for the destruction of the Order. Or something.
You were going to ask her for the destruction of the Order.
Well, no, I was going to ask something inconvenient that would lead to its destruction. Something pointy. I hadn't thought of it, but...
Casimir, what makes you think that she was ever going to hold up her side of the bargain?
Well, I didn't think she would. Really?
Wait, you think she won't pay us?
I think she'll
No.
pay us because that's easy, but favours are a slippery thing, and you learn a lot about a person by how they respond to the notion of favours. I learnt a lot from how she reacted to that. She's conniving, slippery, and indicted herself. But I guess we'll get paid, so that's fine.
I don't think we would even be allowed to leave. We have learned quite a lot. Perhaps I'll explain it later in the basement. But if
over
we
the next
found
day or
out-
so, sorry,
Sorry.
based on the number of people you have and based on anything you want to do, just let me know what you're doing and we'll kind of just, it will happen. So sorry, Mercy, please continue.
If we found out what she has asked us to discover, we would be holding information which could lead to war. Which could lead to the indictment of the ecclesiarchy by the Archon Council, which could lead to any number of other calamitous outcomes for them, probably to her benefit. Now, she is as conniving and careful as you have said. Someone like that would never let information like that be out of her control. And the easiest way to control it is to silence those who could speak.
I suspect that if... I feel she's asking us, and I guess this conversation is a little way away from, the
Yeah,
villas.
and I'm
We're
going to
walking
assume
away.
you aren't, like, doing it right underneath
Standing
her fucking
outside,
doorstep.
she's a bitch! I'm assuming she's asking this because it is inconvenient to her plans with the Praetor. If the information we gather indicts her in any way, surely she would just kill us. If I were her, and I'd hired some people to find some things out that I thought might be true, it was confirmed to be true, I would definitely kill the only people who knew it. Anyway, that's my expectation for the whole thing. If it is indeed that is the topic that she is concerned about and the reason she's asking. Maybe she does just genuinely want to know. I'm not sure. Anyway, we have ourselves a side quest. A very lucrative one, actually.
The last time the ecclesiarchy marshalled their armies was to stop the ascension of Lilith.
It was. They'd only moved for something terribly important. We know it wasn't
Jamie,
Abaddon.
How many
Yes, sir.
times has the ecclesiarchy gone to war ever?
3.
In what
In
span
like
of history?
5,000 years.
Open warfare in the years that Mercy is aware of. So 3,000 years, 3 times. 1, to stop Abaddon. Secondly, conquest. Initially, conquest, as many ancient powers have attempted to conquer the whole of Dominus before some uneasy truce and alliance was formed. Secondly, to stop Abaddon. Thirdly, to stop Lilith.
Okay. The ecclesiarchy have gone to war 3 times in the last 3,000 years.
I know. Whatever it is, it's big.
If they are moving, then the power that they move against is truly a threat to the balance. This I have no doubt. I might not agree with their means or their actions, but they do not do this lightly. And if the Sovereign Arbiter is asking us to intercede in some way, even indirectly, then we must be cautious of this.
All very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Well, that was that one. Doesn't change our destination as Alaratha. I suppose this is something to look at next, perhaps. We have a few candidates. Maybe we discuss it later. Once we've sorted Quan out. We don't lack for things to do, that's for sure. So is it that we're only left with saying goodbye?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, let's get our things and see Alara. I suppose we return to Fort Valor.
You do. And you approach the tent where Alara was coronated, where Alara seems to have... There seems to be a big coronation, and Alara is in the center, and there's a crowd kind of outside as you push forward, kind of one by one, and Alara seems to be holding court for the first time, hearing various petitions, and standing in front of her is Lady Karia Montague.
Is the Archon here? Is the Lady Archon?
All the
is
Archons are here.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, all the
we just
Archons
walked
hear
into an
this?
Are watching around, yeah.
Oh,
They are sitting around. They seem to be there's these instances, and the car is going. And that is why, whatever service this Crossley has done, and you see Monty is off to the side. They
I
are
catch his
wanted-
eye and I just shake my head like, oh no.
Monty kind of gives you the, you said you had a plan. Whatever service this Crossley has done for you, whatever allies they may have, and turns and stares at you and kind of looks at the others, acknowledges it, does not wash away the bad.
Good morning, Lady
Ilara
Montague.
looks over at you. Ilara brushes it off entirely. They are under your protection. This is your land. Do not allow your first act to be to be protecting a murderer. I beseech you. She was brought back to Sakamar in chains to face justice. Takes a couple of steps back, and you may do as you wish. If anything.
Well, I mean, we've just sort of come in to drop by to say goodbye to Ilara, so I assume all our bags are packed. And we're...
I'm going to assume you've walked pretty much straight from here. No, your bags are not packed.
Oh, well...
Because you've walked here from the Sovereign Arbiter's villa.
No, I imagine
just arrived.
I would have prioritized.
Okay, if you want
to
to,
make sure
okay.
my 500 gold worth of clothes were ready to leave.
Okay,
That's important.
that's fine. If you want to have all your bags packed, that's fine. You have walked in carrying your luggage, almost looking like you're about to make a getaway.
I just thought outside. Well, he's going to address Ilara directly and say, I see my timing has gotten somewhat worse in the last 24 hours. I was coming here to say goodbye, Ilara. We all were. We'll be on our way soon. I wanted to thank you.
Oh.
The last few months have been truly quite remarkable for multiple reasons. You started as somebody I thought quite frankly hopeless, and today seeing you sit on your throne...
Pod kind of like cringes a little bit with that lady.
I'm incredibly proud of you. You haven't changed particularly. What I think has changed is my ability to see you for who you are. I think you are strong, I think you are quite wise, and I think you will do very well here. I'm not particularly interested in pleading my case. I did do some of those crimes, everybody. He kind of turns around and just sort of like nods in acquiescence. Not all of them. And not in the way you think. I can't really be bothered to go into it now, so I shall be taking my leave. I have rather more important things to be dealing with than whatever this is. But I did want to make sure I said that to you. Your Majesty, or your stewardship. That doesn't sound like a word. I don't know what the word is there. Steward. And he kind of motions to the other guys, saying goodbye time.
Yeah, good luck and goodbye.
Mercy?
Goodbye. I've written you a letter.
Oh. Did you give it to her?
Yes.
Are you going to send me the letter?
When I think of it, yeah.
Sure. Did you hand it over? Otherwise, no, but this is... You're just leaving?
Well, he kind of drops his voice.
back.
He drops his voice and leans in and says, Quan's problem can't wait, Ilara. We need to resolve it.
I understand.
I wish we could stay. I've grown rather fond of Fort Valor. Happy memories, and we will be back, but I don't think the Paladin has too much longer. It's very shiny today.
It's over at Quan, who is radiant. Council speed. Best of luck, and I can't thank each of you enough. Please come back. I'll need you.
You don't, actually. But if you
Garuda
want to see
understands.
us, then we'll be there.
want and need. No one is an island.
What is it in Three Body Problem? Everyone is alone in nature.
Noctival stands up. Yes, sadly, there is no justice. It is time one problem was resolved, and outstretches her hand to each of you.
He kind of looks back at
Which was just like, there ain't no justice here, kid, and then she's just off. Teleports
Casimir just
away,
like looks at Lady Montague and just sort of shrugs and says, "There we have it. There is no justice. Guess you're out of a job."
Yeah, because by the way, she just like, given your previous interaction, not a huge fan of Casimir, willing to believe everything, frankly.
He's never pleaded his innocence. As he said, he can't be bothered.
Yeah.
So, grabbing each one of you by hand, if there's anyone who resists or wants to say anything else.
I want to insight
Can I
check the
say something?
Archons. Okay, yeah, say your thing.
The Archon's around. Yeah, sure, go for it. Abaddon's not there currently.
I wanna check the vibe of like, does anyone look really outraged and upset that I'm a murderer and I'm leaving, or are they just like, dude, whatever, we don't care. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's 16.
Yeah, you've pissed off two Archons in particular. The Archon of Asmodeus and the Archon of Tyr, who expect you to stand trial and justice.
Understandable. Is Thesrin looking chill now, knowing that his brother's first and only friend is a criminal?
No, Thesrin is enjoying all of this. There is there's a huge beaming smile across as you make your escape, as it were.
All right.
Mercy, anything else?
Mercy smiles at Alara and says, "Alara, we left Reed home in a pretty sorry state. Quite a good.
I remember.
Quite a good location. I see a lot of potential."
Very central. It should be rebuilt. Priestess Sarah will help me, I'm sure.
Send Sarah our love.
Rasha is very happy at the mention of a priestess of Geb. Pod.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to say to Alara before you go?
I mean, Pod would kind of like on the way through in slightly an awkward fashion, but he's kind of used to being nomadic and moving about, so he wouldn't dwell on it and seem like he would believe in his heart, if there was an inside check there, that he will be back. He was like, it was very fun, you know. It was good fun. We did almost die a few times, but I guess that's part of fun these days, as is all of this is quite high society for me. It's a bit scary. Good luck out there. And then she sort of taps the shoulder and like moves on.
Pod, you saved us more times than I can count. If there's anything I can help with, the village, please let us know what I can do. Pod, this is also
if
useless.
you hear anything about Thugaloop, anything maybe about the Creditors Federation and Thugaloop, just send me a letter or something.
Pod,
I don't know exactly where to.
Perception check, by the way.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh damn, that's a 26.
Yeah, you notice, by the way, as you're having this heartfelt goodbye with Alara, as you kind of clasp hands with everybody, Arvis looks at someone in the crowd. Jarvis Fairwind of the Creditors Federation. And you notice how there's almost a nod of acknowledgement between both of them as you are teleported away. And we would say that Pod is aware that there is some agreement between Arvis and the Creditors Federation that you may or may not want to follow up with in subsequent sessions.
I'll as we're teleported away, I'll give Monty a look and maybe cough and like under my breath shoot him a message spell and say something to the effect of, "Your cravat is crooked, by the way." See you soon. I'll miss you.
As Lady Kara stands up and says, what is going on? Why are they grasping hands? I do not understand. What are you permitting? And as you do, you may all smile and disappear. And you appear far away. There's that swirling, nauseous feeling as you teleport. And you are now perched on the edge of a cliff, surrounding a city some of you may have read about or seen. All 5 of you from far away.
I'm so
Is
excited.
the
Let's
city
go.
of Alarafa, enveloped in a soft, ethereal fog. City's architecture, semi-Gothic, a spectacle of soaring spires, arched windows, all crafted from some kind of dark stone that seem to absorb the light. Towering above the cityscape, far off in the distance, is a landmark you only would have heard about. Some of you may have seen Mercy. It's called the Soul Spire, a magnificent cathedral-like structure whose highest tower reaches into the clouds, acting as a beacon for the souls that pass through it. And we'll deal with the City of the Dead and everything else next time.
No. We literally just had a raid. You cannot end a session every single
For
time
heaven's sake.
we have a raid. You have
Is
to
it from
stop
Rupee?
this.
Hello,
I don't have to go.
Rupee.
I don't have to go straight away.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Tell us about the City of the Dead.
You said you were ready.
The streets of Alarafa are paved with cobblestones worn smooth by the passage of countless mourners, celebrants, visitors. It's daytime. Streets are quiet, somber. Citizens and visitors, as you begin to approach, are like speaking in hushed tones, move between the veiled gardens and the halls of remembrance. It's a pretty city. The Gothic architecture mixes with gardens, sprawling expanse of green. Vegetation expands throughout, marble statues reflecting pools throughout this city. It is a city that is quiet. It is a city that is one of worship and visitation rather than one of living. The priesthoods, the civilizations, the societies that live here are ones that some of you will be more aware of than others. You may well make history checks if you would like to learn about which organizations within the city may be of interest to you.
I really want to know. There's so much I want to know about this place. I feel like City of the Dead has been like on Casimir's bucket list since he was a wee boy who thought skeletons were kind of cool.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to go to the
Gain
Dead
an advantage,
City.
given what you know.
This isn't like a
child.
place of skeletons. This is like a real people city.
Yeah, what is
This
the
is a real people
population? This
city,
is a
yeah.
real people city. Okay.
Real people city, no, real people city.
Okay, this
Real
isn't. This
people
isn't.
city. So
let's
we
go
haven't
to
just
the-
locked up and everything's like dead, and we're just about
There
to
are
get, like...
4 major factions, depending on how you roll. You can attempt
Okay,
to.
it's a
gain some
17.
insight. 5 major factions, really, but that's a hidden one.
I got a 20.
Oh, I mean, now we know there's a hidden one. We're gonna have to find out what it is.
Yeah. Just go around
So far,
every
20?
market guy and be like, "Do you know who the hidden?
Do you know who the
faction
hidden faction?
You
is?
know the Muffin Man.
The
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man.
So 20. What's anything else?
She's married to the muffin.
17. Yeah.
It's not higher than 20, is it? Anyone get higher than 20?
Why am I being?
What am I rolling? What am I rolling? Sorry.
History.
History. Oh, I'm not actually that good.
The
at
highest
history,
of
it's
you
kind
will be
annoying.
aware of these secrets.
Okay.
It's just an 11. Ain't that special. I know average
Okay.
amounts about this place.
So,
I've read
the
it in a book once.
Factions and orders within here. There are the Veil Keepers. These are a religious order dedicated to the Raven Queen, to the
Raven
balance between
Queen?
life and death. The Raven Queen.
The Raven Tween.
The
No,
Raven.
it's Tween. Jesus Christ, that sounds awful. The Raven Tween sounds like every emo. The Raven
No,
Queen.
that's just that show on Nickelodeon, or it used to be.
There is
somebody's League of
Spirit
Legends
Bound
account.
Circle. Casimir, these have always fascinated you. These are a group of necromancers.
They
who have a
are.
pact with the Raven, who have a pact with the Raven Queen. Communicate only with the dead for the purposes of guidance and counsel, but do not resurrect them. Finally, there is the Guild
Sounds
of
like a good
Mourning,
bunch.
artisan, craftsmen, who specialize in creating grave goods, masks, effigies, who help mark the passing of others. Finally, there is the Winged Sentinels, paladins and fighters who protect the city and its sacred sites, especially during large festivals. Fifthly, Mercy, you are aware of the subversions that exist within this that servants of Merkel and darker forces who attempt to use the power of life and death for more than the established practice, who vie for power in the Raven's Queen domain. Serene, respectful on the surface, souls and the power of the afterlife and the questions that they're within always require a level of faith that not everybody is willing to give. It is a city where the veil between life and death is more permeable than it is in other parts, and therefore protected. Those sites where you can communicate with the dead, when ultimately it has been decided that is not something that should be available, the city is guarded and closed. Where you are allowed to go and where you should go are very different to where you would want to go if you truly understand what you are looking for. Mm-hmm. You will be, Mercy, if you attempt... The Guild of Mourning are the tourists. You will be sold things, you will be asked for things that will very much reflect what you should do here. The Spirit Down Circle is the closest you will get to what is permissible in communicating with the dead. The Veil Keepers and the Winged Sentinels work together to ensure that no one goes beyond that.
And then Merkel's street gangs are going nuts.
If you wish to peer beyond the veil, you will need to find other allies here.
And that's peering beyond the veil is basically everything that Casimir and Pod does.
That's the spooky shit.
Yeah, Pod, your shield and you suddenly feel incredibly nervous looking out over this city. You realize that the dressing down you got from Noctival is manifest here. Casimir, you don't know what your fate holds here.
I'm assuming my brand of necromancy is not particularly welcome here, based on
I reckon, unless it's by a secret society that probably thinks it's cool and very, very based and red pilled.
So I need to find my Merkel gang.
Based and Merkel pilled.
Merkel pilled.
I need to find Merkel street gangs. Okay.
So knowing about
pretty much.
So what reaction does she get from all of the normal people? Is she like?
Oh, she's teleported. So we can talk about that right now. You are outskirts of the city. She has teleported you here. As you approach her, as you deal with it, you can attempt to you can talk or manipulate this, as it were. So you are far out from the city to avoid any of those questions for now. Yeah. Is there anything you would like to do or prepare or talk about before you go in?
I want to ask, when you say like peer beyond the veil and that is like protected and stuff, is that implying that like living normal person city is like a bit of a front and there's a like secret spooky zone? Or
no, this is, so if you look at your maps, you will notice that this is only halfway into the preserve. This is the last bastion of the living.
Okay, and beyond this it's Spooky Town. It's like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's pretty sick.
Okay. And the Soul Spire is like...
Beyond this, so you have gone through Purgatory Post, which is the nearby port. You've gone through the Singing Woods and the Grotto of the Obsidian Raven. The only area before you, Alarafa, and then beyond that is known as the Silent Canyon.
Spooky.
Do we know anything
Spooky
about when you say like the Silent Canyon and afterwards? Is it basically just like dead people, like souls and?
You can make a history check.
Yeah, I'd like to know what I might know about the next bit afterwards.
Yeah, can I roll this as well, given it's particularly up my alley?
Yep, sure. Go for it. You would have been fascinated by it. What did you roll?
Yeah.
I got a 22.
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay.
15. I got a 20. If it's history.
Okay. Both of you know the Silent Canyon is an area of Lukai closely guarded by the Raven Queen, but given that it borders by land the limitless horizon, it is an area that thieves or trespassers or sailors from the last half had attempted to permeate. Important figures often entombed here. There are monuments to certain important people from the past, be it past archons from various places. To put simply, it is a place where predominantly the followers of the Raven Queen or certain religions are permitted to go, and B, it is not restless. There are reports of zombies, skeletons walking. It is a place of the more of the restless dead. Those who have not been fully quietened and are attempting to be quietened. There are monuments and tombs here, but it is certainly a place where that veil is more permeable than is acceptable to the general residents of Lukai. Your ability to pass through here or communicate here or bringing someone dead here, you're unsure what would happen. And therefore it is a closely guarded area where you would not be welcome.
So there's loads of corpses just hanging out down there, ripe for necromancy?
Or corpses that have already... No, quite the opposite. Corpses that are not ripe for necromancy because they're already walking around.
Already vibing, partying.
They'd be dragging them back. They wouldn't be very pleased about it.
It's the recruitment zone for the skeleton wars down there.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
Do I know what the position on like other miscellaneous undead, like thinking? So like your vamps, your liches.
There's not a single vampire in Lukai, but liches, that's a concern.
So,
You would have heard of several. Yeah.
Not a single vampire in Lakai, as in, is it like us, where we have stories about vampires, or does the concept of vampire just not exist?
When Mercy saw Monty with fanged and eyes, you have no idea what that creature would be.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the idea that there are... Mercy, I would say with the 22, this place is one where several weavers have perhaps permeated, and there are not only the living, but the undead have taken up residence, and there are powers here, or those who have continued to consolidate power beyond undeath.
Liches.
Okay, and I imagine based on that if they had, we don't like that, and if they could have been sent back or stopped doing that, then they would have been. So basically,
this is a place where the weave, luckily, it seems difficult for them to operate outside of here, and therefore the weavers have little interest unless someone attempts to hide here, and that knowledge comes from that.
Okay.
So stuff like liches in the City of the Dead's Eyes is objectively bad, or is there ever a case where like it just gets a bit blurry and it's chill? It's all bad.
It's bad.
Necromancer's all bad.
That's the dogma that they prescribe externally.
So here's the thing, gang. I've drawn a new outfit for Casimir, which he has been wearing, and it features a lot of bones and stuff. And I feel maybe it screams I'm a necromancer a little bit.
It screams. Maybe if it screams like Merkel, maybe we don't.
It does maybe say Merkel a little bit. I think there might be some Merkel vibes going on. So I think maybe
think just like quietly whisper as opposed to.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe cautiously he's going to turn to Noctavane and say, "Lady Archon, to what extent am I going to be a problem in this city?"
As she turns towards you, eyes placid, skin grey, the kind of outfit glistening in the ever so slightly mist, and she looks at you, and you feel she seems slightly taller here. She looks down at you. Your presence abomination is barely tolerated. Do not summon, do not call, do not ask of the dead. Their time has passed.
Mercy and Pod, you probably know when Casimir wants to say something quippy, but I feel like your words, Mercy and Pod, from earlier are ringing in his ears, and he just sort of looks at the pair of you, closes his mouth, bows his head, and says, "Thank you for tolerating my abominable presence. I shall do as you say."
Make
What
a
kind of
fucking
walks up,
perception check.
puts his hand around like Casimir immediately. He's like, "Well, I see this as an absolute win. What a great opportunity to maybe learn some new ways to channel your talents."
Exhales.
But not about. Sorry, go on, Mercy. What did you say?
No, just.
Notaval looks round at you and says, "I see you have yet to contemplate what your brother means for your faith."
I am in let's consider it a learning journey, and it's taken me right here, and I'm so happy and I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to grow as a person.
Aren't we all here to learn?
Take him to the Soul Spire. Perhaps that will free you of your burden.
Wait, no, your
Soul
Pod.
Spire, that sounds...
You do wish to be rid of him, do you
I mean,
not?
well, rid in not in like a horrid way. Like, you would never say you want to be rid of him.
He is dead and gone.
Yeah, he should, move on. He should pass on. Yeah, there's a good time to pass on. But, I mean, it just sounds bad when you put it that way. You should say get rid of.
All
Makes
of
it sound
us
like we don't want to bury
shall
him.
die and be reborn.
Casimir's filing away. Take Mateus to the Soul Spire in his brain. I'm summoning boys.
Noctavale.
Yes.
I hope, as you have said, and kindly, generously even, assisted us, our aim is to free our friend, Paladin Quan, from the souls of those murdered innocents within him. But we are strangers to this place. Might you suggest a place to start that could offer us assistance in this?
Forgive me. For now, all of you shall follow me. Juan's issue is one that requires mine and others' direct attention. We must perform a ritual. Whether he survives will be up to his fortitude. Please, come with me. To a reminder, she hasn't brought you here because she thinks it's helpful. She has brought you here because she believes that this is the only place the ritual that must be done can be done. Okay. And with the guardrails up, that is where we will leave this session.
I'm so excited, guys.
You have some information about what the Sovereign wants, a little bit of information about Monty, and you are now here in Arafa, literally the other side of Lukai, as you begin to learn more about what has happened to Quan, and you can make your own destiny and move forward. Thank you everyone for watching. This isn't the end of the raid, I'm sorry.
I have a really important question, Jamie. Are there time zones in the it's a flat world, right? So how does that work?
Yeah, time zones are the same. That's fine. It's still midday.
The time zone is the same, but we're on the other side of the world.
The world is flat.
Yeah, because it's a flat world. The sun's in the sky and just rotates around. It's the same. It's not round. I'll need to look into the flat Earth theory and why time zones are different, but thank you.
When I read on YouTube,
I'm not sure how they account for it.
But
that is okay. It might be evening, or morning. Or
you're gonna end up in
we will get back to you once I learn about flat Earth.
You're gonna end up in like a community or like a Discord server of flat earthers, like asking loads of questions, and then they're like, "Oh, you're a believer."
Guys,
like, no, I just really want to know.
If you teleported from Japan to Russia, like Siberia, what time would it be? Right. Thank you, everybody. Catch you soon.
All right. Cheers. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks for hanging out. Join our Discord. We talk about D&D a lot, and we do fun things and play D&D together. And thank you. Bye.